Farrah Abraham has stayed quiet for years, but now she's finally breaking her silence. The reality star best known for Teen Mom is pulling back the curtain on the scandal that nearly destroyed her career, the infamous tape with adult star James Dean. Was she manipulated? Was it a carefully planned publicity stunt? Or is the truth far darker than anyone imagined? Before the scandal ever hit, Farrah Abraham was already one of the most talked about names in reality television. She first stepped into the spotlight on MTV's 16 and Pregnant and quickly transitioned into Teen Mom, where her fiery personality and constant clashes with family members made her stand out. Unlike some of her castmates, Farrah wasn't just reality TV famous, she became tabloid famous. Every argument, every decision, every misstep was turned into a headline. And while that level of attention made her a household name, it also painted her as MTV's villain, setting the stage for what would become one of the most explosive scandals in reality TV history. Then came 2013, the year everything changed. Out of nowhere, news broke that a private tape of Farrah Abraham with adult film star James Dean was about to surface. At first, Farrah insisted it was something deeply personal, a private recording that had been leaked without her consent. But within days, the story started unraveling. The tape wasn't some stolen footage, it was a fully produced adult film being distributed by a major company. Fans felt blindsided. Had Farrah been caught in a moment of betrayal, or had she orchestrated the entire thing to grab headlines? That question alone ignited a firestorm, and her already controversial reputation went into overdrive. But Farrah's explanation didn't last long, because James Dean had his own story to tell. The adult film star came forward almost immediately, saying the tape wasn't leaked at all. According to him, Farrah personally approached him to film the project and made it clear she wanted a professional-looking product. He even claimed she tried to pass it off as a personal tape to cash in on the scandal. This painted a completely different picture, one where Farrah wasn't the victim of exposure, but the mastermind of her own controversy. The conflicting narratives only fueled the drama, leaving fans to wonder who was telling the truth and who was spinning a story for damage control. The fallout was brutal. Almost overnight, Farrah's image went from reality TV wildchild to tabloid punchline. Fans accused her of staging the entire scandal just to stay relevant, while critics slammed her for betraying the Teen Mom brand. MTV quickly distanced themselves, cutting ties and limiting her appearances on the show. Endorsement deals dried up, doors in Hollywood closed, and suddenly Farrah was fighting to hold on to whatever spotlight she had left. Rumors swirled that the entire move had been financially motivated, a desperate attempt to secure a paycheck when her fame started slipping. Whether true or not, the backlash was relentless, and it left Farrah standing alone in a storm she couldn't control. Behind the headlines, Farrah insisted she was living through a nightmare. She claimed the scandal had taken a devastating toll on her mental health, leaving her isolated and constantly judged by the public. In interviews, she opened up about the emotional scars, saying she never intended to become defined by that tape, yet it followed her everywhere she went. Friends and family relationships reportedly grew strained, with whispers that even those closest to her questioned her decisions. Rumors suggest Farrah struggled privately with shame and regret, while also feeling betrayed by the way the media twisted her story. To her, this wasn't a career move gone wrong, it was a personal wound that never seemed to heal. And now, years later, Farrah's finally speaking out in detail. She says the story that spread online was far from the truth, claiming that the narrative had been twisted to make her look guilty while others profited from her pain. Farrah insists she never wanted to be defined by that tape and that the judgment she faced was unfair and relentless. She's opening up about the emotional manipulation she experienced behind the scenes, hinting that some of the people involved took advantage of her naivety and desperation. Fans are now hearing the other side, the side that MTV, tabloids, and viral headlines never let her tell. And with her words finally out there, the debate over who really controlled the story has reignited. The story didn't end with Farrah. Years after the tape, James Dean himself became embroiled in his own scandals.
Multiple women came forward with accusations, claiming misconduct and abuse on set. Suddenly, the public began to look at Farrah's story in a new light. Some started to reconsider her claims, questioning whether she had actually been exploited rather than orchestrating the tape for attention. The shift in perception was dramatic. What once seemed like a calculated move now had shades of victimhood, and Farrah's critics were forced to rethink the narrative. The controversy surrounding James Dean didn't erase the tape, but it certainly complicated the conversation, leaving the public torn over who was truly at fault. Today, Farrah Abraham is determined to reclaim her story. She's reinventing herself through business ventures, writing books, and focusing on her daughter, all while refusing to let that infamous tape define her life. Still controversial, she continues to divide fans. Some see her as a savvy survivor who turned scandal into opportunity, while others can't shake the shadow of her past. But Farrah insists her voice matters, and she's finally telling it on her own terms. The reality star wants the public to see more than the headlines, to understand that there's a person behind the drama, a person who's grown, struggled, and is fighting to be heard. In the end, Farrah Abraham's story is far from simple. Was she a victim of manipulation, a woman trying to survive in a ruthless industry, or a savvy player who knew how to use controversy to her advantage? The truth might be somewhere in between, and that's exactly what keeps the conversation alive. By breaking her silence, Farrah isn't just revisiting the past, she's challenging the public to reconsider everything they thought they knew. And now the question is yours. Do you believe Farrah, or do you side with the narrative that made her infamous? Whatever your answer, one thing is clear: her story is unforgettable, and the debate isn't going anywhere.